This is Rockslapping Champions. Player 1, playing Artanis, we have Willieber. In Player 2, playing Phoenix, we have Terribleness. So let's have a look at the masteries while the players get set up. Artanis is a level 71 Ascension player, 71 Mastery if you prefer the Mastery tank, and he's pretty much picked mastery points all the way across the board, all evenly split. Generally speaking, you want to pick one or the other. In this case, you want to go for shield overcharge. You want to go this one is competitive pick. It depends on really what units you choose to use. In this case, I would probably go for the warp speed, maybe a little bit of the energy regen as well, if you're going for a high Templar build here. And then for this one, you'll probably want to go for the Chrono Boost Master. The Spear for Dune Energy isn't particularly useful if you're using a non-prestige Artanis. So Phoenix has gone for 30 points of the Phoenix's attack speed, 20-10 split into the AI attack speed and AI vitality, and then a 27-3 split into the Chrono Boost starting supply. So this mastery set here is pretty much the optimal selection. It really depends on how your macro goes, but that is a selection that Phoenix has made, so that is actually pretty good. So you will notice that we have a set of mutators active on this map, and if you look at the mutator icons, you will probably realize that this is this week's weekly mutation. What we have is Darkness, which blacks out the areas of the map that are unexplored or outside your vision range, which means also your ping markers will not be visible. So you won't know where your trains are coming from, you will not know where your attack waves are coming from, so you will need to know the mission timings and orders pretty well. And then we have the Outbreak Mutator, which causes the enemy infested units to spawn from around the map. And now this mutator is particularly dangerous after the 20-minute mark because it spawns aberrations once you hit that time in the mission, and since this mission cannot be cleared any faster, you will probably have to deal with the aberrations at some point. And lastly, we have the Walking Infested Mutator. So this one will spawn enemy infested units when you kill enemy units, and the number of infested that spawn will depend on the supply cost of the unit that you have killed. So when you're killing hybrids, you will have several units that are going to be several infested Terrans that will be attacking, and if you kill the random one-off Marine, you will have a few less. And you can see now the first Outbreak Mutator casualty is going to be here. Phoenix's pylon is going to be going down, and that is going to end up supply blocking Phoenix. Now these infested Terrans are going to start aggroing the Purifier Conclave, and actually some of these probes, which is actually not very good. We have orbital strikes that get used to deal with the early infested wave that was attacking Artanis' Zealot here, which may not have been ideal, and I think the orbital strikes were used on this geyser. Now again, Artanis could have gotten a little bit more value by targeting in the middle here, but again, orbital strikes should not have been used for that infested unit set here, because that could have been dealt with very easily by Artanis. Now, what's interesting is Artanis hasn't actually built a pylon, which means his warp field is basically locked into his base. Usually at this point he's already floating about 1,000 minerals, so he should be putting in a pylon so he doesn't actually lock this warp field into his base and he can move it around and reinforce his army on the field. But still, no nexus down for Artanis, which is again really interesting. When is Artanis going to be putting down his nexus? He's not really building anything as far as I can see. He has a Stargate on the way right now, and again he's using that warp field to power that Stargate. So I think the Stargate is also a little bit further away near the edge of this thing, so I think he's trying to do a wall in here, which is I guess okay, but again, he needs that pylon down so he can use a warp field in other places on the map. And where is his nexus? Okay, there we go. Now the nexus is coming down, and 5 minutes 50 seconds, a little bit delayed, but not too bad. Now Phoenix is going to go and engage this ground Terran composition. Shouldn't be no problem for Phoenix. Now, and we have a solar bombardment that gets used onto the screen. So, not really a bad play. You can use... Technically, you should use your solar bombardment on the first train because it's pretty much a freebie. There's no reason to not use it on the first train because you use it on this first train and you will have a solar bombardment available for the first double train wave that will spawn, which has a really nasty escort wave. So pretty much optimal play here for Artanis, but Artanis is going for a Stargate, which means he's probably going to be putting down a fleet beacon at some point, and that is not an optimal play here because Tempests are good when it comes to dealing with the trains, but you need a lot of splash damage to handle the mutators that are active, and remember the trains will also spawn the infested Terrans, so it can get pretty nasty, and Tempests are not very ideal at dealing with the infested units that will be spawning around the map. Phoenix has almost saturated his expansion, which is nice. Artanis' Nexus is also on the way here. One probe just chilling over here, just having a look and seeing what's going on. And yeah, we have a fleet beacon on the way. A few of these vultures are starting to aggro Artanis' army. Orbital strike come down to clear out these vultures, which is also, again, not a really bad play. Having these, clearing out these, one of the things that can happen is if the AI finds that the vultures are idling around, they'll start dropping spire mines. So clearing out vultures as quickly as possible is a good idea. Artanis seems to be interested in going for a fleet beacon play here, which means he's going to be going for his Tempests, and Tempests are not a very ideal unit to use here. We have again some aggro of some infested units that were aggroing this Nexus. Orbital strikes seem to have come down, and now there's a Guardian Shell that gets used to try and protect the Nexus against damage from this one infested. I'm not really sure why that panic has happened, but apparently that was a thing. Did Artanis lose it? Yeah, Artanis hasn't lost anything, and the hull damage on this thing was maybe about 100 damage dealt by that Marine. That Guardian Shell, that Shield Overcharge was completely an overreaction from Artanis' side, and now Phoenix has to go and deal with this next train. Again, we have Arsenal Overcharge that gets used, and some Solar Flares that get used again on this thing, and this seems to be okay, but there are a set of raids here that are aggroing Phoenix's army, and Phoenix does have some protection. He's going to be aggroing these raids here. Raids come out of Cloak because they're going to be really annoying with the AI, and we have now the first set of Tempests that have spawned. Again, there are a few of these probes that are getting aggro. The Guardian Shell is keeping them alive, which is kind of nice. And we have 2 Stargates out for Artanis. And Artanis moves his warp field and depowers his gateway and the Stargate here, because I have no idea why he moved it forward that much, but yeah, there was no tactical reasoning to move that forward, and now Artanis has realized that his warp field has been powering his 2 structures, forgotten that he has extra minerals to spare for his production structures here. So what he can do is he can just move it back, but I guess it doesn't really matter too much. His pylon is going to be up now and repower his structures. The other thing I have also noticed, which is going to be somewhat problematic for Artanis, is that he has no static defense here on the ramps. And what's going to happen is later on throughout the course of the mission, he will be getting attacked by ghosts. And ghosts will try and nuke him, and you need to have static defense here. This is probably one of the very few missions where you need to have cannons and static defense put up on your ramps, because the AI is very, very aggressive when it comes down to nuking you on this mission. But anyway, that is the second train cleared. I think the third train has spawned right now, and you can see one of the problems with the Tempest for Artanis is that they have a problem dealing with the infested units that are spawning around the map. There are just several infested units that spawn, and they all have low HPs, and usually the Tempest will target the same unit and will result in severe overkill. So we have a solar bombardment now that gets used for Artanis, which again, not really a wise decision over here. And we also have some little strikes that are being used to try and deal with this train. So what's happened now is Artanis does not have his solar bombardment ready for the next train wave, and that next train wave is going to be an absolute nasty wave. It's going to be massive, and again, remember you're dealing with Terran composition. Terran is broken. I would say Blizzard, please fix, but Starcraft 2, go up. Dead game confirmed. Feels bad, man. We are not going to be having any more updates, which means that we are not going to be having a Terran buff, which may be a good thing, but yeah. Terran, by far, my most hated composition. It has Ravens, it has Cyclones, it has battle cruisers, it has those other units that siege up that keep killing you all the time. What are they called? Liberators and siege tanks. And did I mention Ravens? Yeah, I think I mentioned Ravens. All sorts of nasty units that are not really fun to play against. Not fun, not interactive. And what is Artanis going to be doing now? He has one Tempest that seems to have taken an interest at killing off this one bunker. The rest of these Tempests are going to try and deal with this train, but I don't think there's enough damage output for these Tempests. The other thing I have also realized is the Tempests do not have the disintegration ability. Disintegration is really, really important.
Your base has
What is going on over here? We have...
Your ally is being attacked.
Okay. So Phoenix has dealt with this attack wave that was going to end up ninjaing Artanis' base, and we now have a few more weapons of Tempest, but there's one ghost now that is just auto-attacking these Tempests, because obviously the ghost cannot snipe, otherwise they would snipe. But we have all these Tempests. We have a total of 11 Tempests on this map, and there is no Robo for Artanis, right? There is no Robo for Artanis. There is no Robo in production for Artanis. So Artanis has absolutely no detection for this. So he's waiting for his ghost to run out of cloak, which is, I guess, okay. And now Artanis is probably going to run face first into this double train wave. And as you can see, that the solo bombardment is not going to be ready. So this is going to be really, really catastrophic, because there's going to be a very nasty escort wave over here. So Phoenix is going to run it. You can still see how many battle cruisers are there in this wave, and what do you think is going to happen to Artanis' army? So Phoenix is going to have no problems dealing with this. He does clear a good chunk of the battle cruisers. The rest of them will get cleared up by the rest of his army. Artanis is basically chilling and looking at his base over here and producing 2 more Stargates. And because I think that might not be a bad idea, because he's probably going to need those Stargates to quickly replenish his army that he's about to lose right now. Those battle cruisers are going to start Yamato cannoning every single one of Artanis' Tempests. And Artanis are not actually trying to take any of this thing out. And pretty much his entire army now is going to get completely shredded by the rest of these battlecruisers, and to add insult to injury, to add salt to the wounds, the science vessels cast their defensive matrices onto these battlecruisers, and these battlecruisers now are going to be on the chase here. But Artanis is not even trying to take out the battlecruiser, he's just going to try and focus fire down the train, which is almost at 90% HP. He's not getting this train right now, and these Tempests have pretty much been completely destroyed by the battlecruiser army, and Artanis has left his ally to deal with the rest of the attack wave, or the harass wave. And now we have another another attack wave here. Artanis still trying to get this Tempest down. This Tempest is running right into the middle of the enemy base and ends up being lost as well. Orbital strike as well to try as the last Hail Mary effort to try and kill off this train. 14 Tempests have died in that one attack wave, and we also have a few casualties of some Dragoons and some Zealots, but those guys are insignificant, it doesn't really matter too much. So we finally have this integration upgrade for Artanis. Is he going for... Okay, he's finally going for the air attack... Oh, he's going for the air armor upgrade. Okay, he's double queued up... Okay. Okay. So, let's talk about this. Your armor upgrades are not going to save you against the Yamato cannons, so armor upgrades in general should be a very, very low priority upgrade, especially for Artanis. You usually want to get the armor upgrades if they give you something in addition to that. So basically, you're getting the armor upgrades for not the armor. So for example, if you're getting extra HP like Raynor or Titus, the armor upgrades are pretty much good to use. But most importantly, you should be going for the air attack upgrades. And the other thing as well that would probably help a lot is going for High Templars. Because High Templars can feed back the battlecruisers, and they can also use Storm to try and deal with the train. So having these Infested units spawning can make life a little bit easier. We have 3 more Tempests now that have the spawn, but Artanis is hell-bent on going for a full Tempest build here. So he will be getting that upgrade. He's gotten his first attack upgrade at close to the 16-minute mark, I think he got. And that one Dragoon, we have a few cannons here as well. There's going to be a lot of casualties that will be coming up. What do we have for units to loss? Yeah, Phoenix is taking a bit of a pounding, and now we have the nukes coming up, but Phoenix has put down his photon cannons to help his ally, otherwise his ally would have gotten completely obliterated by the nukes. We have 4 Stargates for Artanis, but Artanis is not the kind of commander that needs the 4 Stargates. Remember that this is a mastery level Artanis, so he has 3 charges on each Stargate. You can usually get away with 2 Stargates, so the other 2 were kind of overkill and basically a waste of gas as well. But now we have some more battlecruisers that are going to be Yamato cannoning all these photon cannons right here. Phoenix jumping in to try and save his precious photon cannons, but I think he lost like 6 photon cannons just from the battlecruiser Yamato cannons. And this is why Terran is pretty much the most obnoxious race to try and go up against. The battlecruisers are just completely... There's no counterplay to the battlecruisers other than feedback and EMP. And did Artanis just A-click his Tempest? I think he just A-clicked his Tempest by mistake. And now this Tempest is like, what the hell, guys? Why did you hit me? I didn't do anything. Artanis is now getting ready to move out, and I think this is actually this double train wave, but what is he going to do? Is he going to start warping in more Tempests? He's probably going to be warping in more Tempests. I think I've also realized this. Yeah, okay, there's another double train wave here. There are Goliaths, and there may be a few Battlecruisers, but the Goliaths are on the back line here. And now we have a shield overcharge because you have Battlecruisers over here. They are going to start Yamato cannoning Artanis' Tempest. And Artanis has actually decided to ignore the Battlecruisers. He wants to try and take out this train, which I guess is a good idea because he's realized he may not have enough damage output, but he has the disintegration upgrade and he's not using the disintegration spell on the train carriages, and you can use the disintegration on each of these train carriages, so these Tempests can actually get a lot of value. These Tempests are not even attacking the train right now, so those Tempests on the back line are gonna get picked up by the Battlecruisers over here. These Tempests over here are getting hit by a few hybrids, but not really too much of an issue, and solar bombardment gets used onto this train, and the solar bombardment will kill off a good chunk of the enemy units over here, but these Battlecruisers in the back line are still killing off the Tempests that have been split off here, and this is actually, again, going to be a few more losses for Artanis, and now you can see the aberrations are spawning from the Outbreak Mutator here. So these Tempests will kill off this train, which is also going to be really good, but these Battlecruisers have got so much value. Is actually pretty insane. This Battlecruiser has no kills. This Battlecruiser has 4 kills, and those are 4 Tempest kills. This one Battlecruiser has killed off 4 of these Tempests right now. And lots of aberrations here that are going to be causing a little bit of pressure for Artanis. It's going to be a little bit of a problem. But Artanis warps in some more Tempests now, and these Tempests will end up clearing out these Battlecruisers. What do we have left on the... Yeah, so this is going to be a little bit hectic, and you see why like you need splash damage. There are a lot of infested units that are spawning around the map, and this can be very, very problematic. Artanis' Tempest is not very ideal. He has the disintegration research completed, but he's not using disintegration as well on the trains, and disintegration can provide you with a lot of value. He's not even gotten his level 2 attack upgrades. He's not even researching that because I think he wanted to go for more Tempests here. So over here, some aberrations have managed to finally kill off the photon cannons here for Phoenix. Phoenix has to use his arsenal overcharge. There's another nuke over here, and Artanis is looking for the ghost. I think the ghost is maybe down here. Yeah, there's the ghost over there. So nuke goes down, kills off all those pylons, and one of Artanis' gateways have been depowered, or one of Phoenix's gateways have been depowered.
Base is under attack. We're all gonna die.
What is going on now? These aberrations are going to go in now. They're going to start pouring into Phoenix's base. Phoenix has no static defense here, so he has to deal with this. And now there's an attack wave over here, and this attack wave again is going to jump right on top of Artanis' army, and there are Battlecruisers in the backline. As soon as they see these Tempests, they are going to start Yamato cannoning them. Guardian Shell everywhere going to get used here, and these Battlecruisers are just going to Yamato everything that they see, getting so much value for Amon's army. And Phoenix and Artanis' army is just going to get completely melted. Phoenix's army now moves into position to try and deal with this attack wave and deal with the onslaught of infested units that have spawned from the train here. So he's able to at least deal with a little bit of the damage that was caused throughout the onslaught of outbreak here. So he's cleared out everything here, but Artanis has lost 31 Tempests. That is absolutely insane. I didn't even know you could lose that many Tempests in one mission, but apparently Artanis is showing there are many ways of losing your precious army. And again, no upgrades here. Artanis is not going to be able to make one. He's not going to be able to get the next attack upgrade before the mission is over. What are we in terms of mission complete? Yeah, this is the last train here, so this will be okay. And we have more outbreak. We have another nuke here. I think this nuke will end up landing because the aberrations are now tanking for the ghosts. And yeah, we have actually surprisingly 40,000 damage dealt, 40,000 train damage dealt by Artanis, but just take a look at the difference here, and there's another nuke here as well. And now this ghost is gonna go in and start sniping some of these things as the aberrations start slapping around some of these probes. Lots of probes are dying right now. Artanis has lost pretty much all of his Tempests, and that is the last train dead. And lots of casualties. 34 Tempests have died, 16 probes have been slapped by the aberration, 17 probes right now, but those are all the trains cleared, and that is GG.